Good morning. My name is Tom. I come to you from Northern Maine, the Rustic log cabin. Well, we're right in the thick of it now, so if you want to know more, learn more about bear hunting and bear trapping, that's what I'm working on right now, and then we'll be leading into deer season. So the 2022 hunting season has begun here at Beaver Creek. That's where my bear stand is going to be this year. It's a brand new site. I got a bunch of things to show you guys today. One is this old piece of junk, and a little surprise down in there, as well as over here. Maybe you can see all that. Anyways, I have got the bear stand in. I've finally made it over to the high ground, which is the woods out of the swale grass where I've placed my bear stand this year. It's a permanent site, so I'm hoping that we can take bears from this particular stand year after year. It's a great location, so we'll see what happens. That's my hope, that's my plan. But right now, I'm going to start baiting next week, so that's what this is all about. This is more for the tree stands, but we'll get into that in a minute. Getting back to the bear stand, what a terrible time it's been to get that tree stand in. A lot of work. It's always a lot of work establishing a new site, stand and all, especially a permanent stand. This stand is just like the deer stands. It's made out of pipe staging. I've got it sitting on cement pads. I have it cabled down to the ground. The only thing left, and I got a platform. It's not a building like my tree stands, because bear season is done in September and October. You hunt in September, and then you could trap in October. You could trap both September and October. So I don't really need a roof shelter like I built for the deer hunting stuff, but it's still a platform with a hand railing around it. I have chosen to camouflage it with natural materials. Fir trees anywhere from 10 feet to 20 feet tall is what I'll be burying this pipe staging in. I want to be up there. I enter it through the floor, so it'll be like climbing up into a great big eagle's nest. We'll call it East Grand Woodsman's eagle's nest. And then I'll have that completely wrapped in fir trees and stuff like that. Add to them yearly. I know the needles and stuff will fall off over time, and that's all right. I'll keep adding to it for the next 2 or 3 years, and eventually it'll just be a big blowdown. It'll be a big brush pile that I won't have to maintain after that, once I get enough dead dry stuff up there over the years. And I've done it in deer stands for years. It works out quite nicely, because eventually you do have a really nice bird's nest off the ground overlooking what you're going to be hunting. And this particular site, I'm calling it a bear site, but I can't. When I was cutting my trail in yesterday to get to the tree line, just as I was stepping into the tree line was a nice deer bed, as well as there was a run leading out of the swale grass. Is kind of what I followed to put in my trail to the high ground. So and I found in that particular area, I found 3 deer beds. So this very well in November could be a really nice deer stand as well. So we'll see. It's time will tell. The game cameras will be up, so they'll give me the secrets that's around that bear stand. And who knows? Maybe this will make it's a half a mile from the cabin. Maybe this will make a really nice deer stand as well. But like I said, time will tell. So that's all. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys a grand tour of the bear stand, the bait site. I am going to videotape setting up the bait site and all of that. But the temperatures have just been way too hot, and the work has been way too hard to tote around cameras and tripods and all of that. I had to concentrate on getting the work done, and a byproduct of getting the work done sometimes is these videos. But in this particular instant, I'm lugging, you know, the pipe staging and the platform, everything had to be lugged in from where we could park with the six-wheeler, roughly probably 200 yards to where the stand is, and then another 100 feet or so to where the actual bait site's going to be. And I really love this bait site. What I have got is just the shooting lane between the bear stand and the bait site. And I've built a wall of brush behind the bait site, which I normally don't do because of the work factor, but there was a big blowdown there. You know, there was a pine tree that blew over that was that big, and it's still 6 feet off the ground. So it comes down to the ground. So it's going to make a great place to time my barrels, as well as I packed a bunch of brush in there. I packed a bunch of tree logs in there so that the bears can't enter from behind. And what they're going to do is they're going to be coming in from the left or coming in from the right. It's going to be straight across. Bears don't like to be out in the open. So this bear site is completely in the woods by itself, except for my shooting lane between the bear stand and the bait site. So I really like this site, so I got really high hopes for it. Now, what is this going to be for? Well, it's a part of bear hunting, and I'll be working on this today. It won't take me that long to do. This is an old compressor from my building days. For whatever reason, I got a little pile of them out back. That just means they never made it to the dump. Basically because there are parts on them that I could use in my building, which I have robbed over the years. You've got air compressor parts, you've got gauges. I've had, you know, gauge go down, my big compressor sitting in the corner. I needed an air gauge for that. It broke off. So I robbed air gauge off this over the years. So it is kind of like in parts. But now what I like about it is this is going to be for my bear trap. My bear trap has to be buried in the ground, and then you have to put a container over the top of it with a 30-pound rock. So I like this. I'm going to cut this off right at this line, and then this will be wide open underneath so I can flip it over upside down. But the other thing I like about it is that there's feet under here. And now these ones, I'm pretty sure, and I don't think these are, I think this is a plastic foot that will go down to a metal bracket. That's my hope anyways. And then what I want to do, have this upside down and then set my 30-pound rock on top of those feet. And then I will be putting, I'll be putting fluffernutter, peanut butter, all that kind of stuff around that rock and around this tank, because I want the bear to get used to flipping that rock off and then flipping this over and then getting to the treat that's down inside of the bear trap. And if you hadn't caught that video, that was last week. I went through the dummy trap as well as the bear trap. I think there's going to be a change in plan. I don't think I like this. I think that it'll be too small. I don't want to take the risk of him hitting the cable, so that it will be a trap that won't catch him. So I'm going to discard this idea, and sometimes that's okay. Alrighty. I guess I'm going to go back to the drawing boards. I do have some 35-gallon plastic drums. I also have some 50-gallon plastic drums. So we'll see. I might just go to one of the big ones, one of the big 50-gallon ones, and put my rock on top of that. Now what I'm going to do in that bear trap after I get this cut out so it sits on there, I don't have them down here, but I have bought little containers of peanut butter. And I'm going to drop the whole container of peanut butter down inside of that trap, as well as maybe every other time, maybe some fluffernutter. We'll keep it interesting for him. But I want that bear to get used to putting his paw down in there and maybe even trying to claw that thing out. You know, that I'm going to put the whole container in there. And if he gets used to having to use his claws down there to pick up that peanut butter container or pick up that fluffernutter container, then he's going to be all ready to be able to grab the trigger when I actually put the bear trap in there. So it's all part of the plan, but this is one more piece of that. Now we're going to get on to what was here. Well, you know, this falls under the category, and a lot of things. I want to say right here, God is good. God is good. As I've been doing this project, I've been picking up a lot of free stuff on the side of the road. A week ago, I needed a piece of pipe that was the size of my bear trap. I hadn't gone and bought it yet, and I've never found one on the side of the road. But I was driving to bear camp the other day, and there's a 10-foot section of it laying on the side of the road for free. A guy's free pile. Perfect timing. I was ready for it that weekend, and boom. That's why I say God is good. There's that piece of pipe that I needed. Free for the taking. Takes care of that part of my bear hunt. Now, you all know I'm building up these hunt shacks. Well, each one of them's got, 6 windows in it. So that's 12 hinges. That's a lot of hinges when you go to start buying them. So it'll end up costing quite a bit of money. As well as I've got the hatch for the door. I need hinges for that. Well, this container is full of hinges. And it was same thing on a free pile, sitting beside a house. And I haven't counted how many hinges are in there, but I need a total of, I need 24 hinges to do the 2 hunt shacks that I've got finished. There's at least 24 hinges down in that box, as well as I got some big hinges for the door. So that saves me a bundle of cash for my window hinges. So, like I said earlier, God is good. I just can't believe, and I'm ready for them. You know, well, this bear stand is wrapping up, and then I'll be back to getting the last hunt shack in for this year. So then it'll be time to put the windows on it, and it'll be time to get the doors in it. So the timing is perfect for that, like I said. But then while I was there at that same free pile, and you almost would overlook it, he had a little shelf out there. Down on the bottom shelf was a handful of flat files. I mean, and they're rusty, that's all right. What I want them for is, if you've watched any of my videos, I do a lot of flint and steel building fires. I've done a lot of videos to try and share that part of my lifestyle. Well, for me, I think that the best steel for a flint and steel fire comes from one of these files. You break it off to size. I drill a hole in it so I can put a string through it for just to be able to hold on to it better. And then you grind off one side on the power grinder, get it nice and cleaned up, and this thing will make sparks like it's nobody's business. And you can get 3 fire steels out of that one thing, out of that one file. And then I also know guys that do forge work where they make knives and stuff. I don't make knives, but this right here, well, these little files will sure come in handy for what I do is flint and steel fire. So when I saw those, I was a happy camper again. As well as this steel box was in the same pile. So that was a pretty good free yard sale for helping out Beaver Creek. And if you follow any of these videos, I have completely outfitted Beaver Creek from lawn sales and free piles. So that's how you keep the cost down if you're deciding to build an outpost like this. The only way that I can do it is to keep the cost down, and this is how I do it. So take from that what you would, have a cup of coffee, and I know we're in here, but next week we'll be out in the bush, because I will be setting the bait stand, not the baits, I will be setting out the baits next weekend, so good to go there. And for those of you that are following my wife's progress with her cancer treatment, tomorrow I go to Boston for her CAT scan, so keep that in your prayers if you would. We want good results. So have a cup of coffee with me before we go, and I will see you next week. And you have a great week.